got Najee Harris at 15.
That's
He's
fine.
a rookie, so you got to project everything. And these are my projections for him for this season.
Okay.
I gave him 80% of all the Steelers running backs production last year. That's well below like back in the Le'Veon Bell days when Le'Veon Bell was seeing like Christian McCaffrey level snaps and usage. This is more about the James Conner, his first year.
Right.
In 2018. That's about what he was seeing. Honestly, I think it was a little bit more than what I'm giving Najee. So I have him down for about 298 rushing attempts. If you project that out of last year, that seems a little high.
It does.
1,192 rushing yards. I gave him 4.0, just the average yards per carry.
Right.
1,192 yards, 10 touchdowns, 64 targets, 48 receptions for 300 receiving yards, 346 total touches. I think he gets over that 300 total touches mark, but that seems a tiny bit high. Total yards, 1,492. That seems fine. That would have been total points last year, 227th. That would have been 7th at the position. Points per game, though, 14.1. That would have been 14th. So I think just that volume, I'm not expecting it to be a super efficient year. You'll see the receiving work in the passing game. I'm very confident with Najee Harris.
Yeah.
And I think that could be conservative. It's going to be a really bad offensive line, though, and that's the concern.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring up is really for me, for him, and the reason he's as low as he is, because honestly, as far as the draft, he went to arguably one of the better locations.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he went to a location that's also losing its freaking mind as far as his offensive line stuff goes.
Yeah.
It's looking rough. And you have an aged Big Ben.
Yep.
You do have a very, very talented wide receiver core who can make plays in short yardage and get deep. So hopefully that can open up. But the thing with me for Najee is it's all going to come down to targets to me. And because I don't think
60, he could handle that 64 targets.
Yeah,
there.
I just don't think he's going to be, and it's not him. I just don't think it's going to be very efficient on the ground because of how bad that offensive line is.
Yeah, and that's why I went with the conservative mark at 4.0 yards per carry.
So I just don't think he's going to be efficient there. But if he gets a boatload of targets, which he easily could,
I mean,
he's got
good. Kalen Ballage and Benny Snell right now behind him.
And Anthony McFarland's still there too. So, but again, these guys are, and we saw Benny Snell, not good.
This is going back to like the Le'Veon Bell days, the James Conner, that first year. Like they got all the work in there. And that's what I'll see him. And that's why I think why the 64 targets seems perfectly fine for me.
Yeah. So I actually have Najee at 16, so just one right behind you.
Okay.
I definitely agree with you there. I really like the fit in Pittsburgh because one thing too is, dude, he's going to be beloved by that fan base.
Oh yeah,
he's going to love playing.
He's
in Pittsburgh.
He's a cool dude.
He's a great dude. I arguably could be the number one running back. Everybody's going back and forth with him and Travis, but
honestly, the rushing could be efficient. This whole offense could take an efficiency dip, but that 10 touchdown mark could go a little bit higher. One, he's going to see all the red zone work in this offense.
Yes.
And two is they just couldn't run the ball. So they stopped trying. They threw, So
I think by the end of the year, it was just throw the ball because we literally have nothing else to do. So, and I think that's also why at the end of the season, they were starting to get beat so bad. So I do think Najee Harris is going to, and I'll say this.
He has back in RB1 upside if the efficiency comes through.
I was going to say
the touchdowns and the efficiency comes through. Yeah.
I would not mind if he was my number one running back.
No.
I wouldn't. But again,
I feel confident with him as my RB2 in Dynasty
for sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. And definitely in redraft, if he's my RB2, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can kind of even
get
take
him
a little bit.
Late second, early third sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's my 16. So where are you at now? 16 too?
Yeah, I need to give out my 16.
Go ahead.
And I think this is the player that I dove the most into out of this list. It's David Montgomery.
So we're just kind of one behind right now.
Okay.
So that's my 17. And I'm going to, before you get going, because I want to hear all your stuff, I just want to say it pains me to put him here. Because I want him to be higher. I just hate this offense.
I think he's the second scariest player for me to draft. Besides Cam Akers, it's David Montgomery.
Yes, because last season...
And I have him one spot ahead of Cam Akers.
It was so nice to see what he did last year. But...
Part of it.
Yeah, part of it. But go ahead and jump into your stats and we'll talk about this.
Okay, so I split it up into 2 seasons. Like you said, very 2 different seasons. Weeks 1 through 9 games, and that was mostly with Nick Foles. He pretty much played all those games, and the first 3 games were with Tariq Cohen. Barring that, you saw 131 rushing attempts. That's a good mark. 472 yards at 3.6 yards per carry. Not good.
No.
2 touchdowns.
Nope.
41 targets, 30 receptions. That's fine on a 9-game pace. 212 receiving yards. That's not great. For total touches of 161 and total yards of 684. Points per game in that stretch, 10.6. That would have been 30th at the running back position. 95 total points. So his next 6-game stretch of weeks 12 through 17, he saw less rushing attempts, obviously 116 for more yards, 598 yards, 5.2 yards per carry. Very good mark.
Skyrocketed the efficiency.
8 touchdowns, 27 targets for 24 receptions, 226 receiving yards, total touches of 140, total yards of 824. 23.8 points per game. Second only to Derrick Henry in that stretch. For a total points of 143. So he scored almost 50 more points in 3 less games in that second stretch than that first stretch.
Yeah, just something happened with him. I mean, Tariq Cohen went down, definitely realized that he was the only guy.
I don't think that factored that much into it. He obviously did much better with Mitch. That second stretch was all with Mitch. In that second stretch, he averaged over 20 touches per game, over 100 yards per game, and over 1 touchdown per game.
Yeah, he ended up finishing 4th on the season, which is excellent. He won you championships too.
Oh, yeah.
Because people were trading him.
Monster.
People were trading him before the trade deadline. And if you were able to snipe him up, then, dude, you definitely were golden.
There's a couple major problems. Tariq Cohen, I'm not worried about, but they did bring in Damian Williams. They drafted Khalil Herbert. They have some other guys back there. He was seeing a ton of the work. But it's Matt Nagy, man.
Yeah.
Because
coaching.
Obviously you give him the guy the ball in the offense when the offense moves. He's really good. But I don't think Matt Nagy, I don't think he's going to stick with it. I think I think Matt Nagy is an idiot, to be honest. I don't think he's a very good coach. And that's why I don't know what to do with David Montgomery. In the 4th round right now, I like that price because he does have back end RB1 upside if they stick with that. I just don't think they're going to stick with that.
Yeah. The thing is David Montgomery is a 3-down back.
Yeah.
That literally an excellent running back that until the end of last season just wasn't getting what he needed to get. And we said this after the 2019 season. We're like coming into 2020. If Matt Nagy just gives him the freaking ball, he'll be fine. And we saw at the beginning, that first half of the season, it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
He was getting the ball, but there was not an efficiency that was worth talking about. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it was scheme oriented. I don't think that offense had like an identity whatsoever. I mean, everybody on that offense wasn't doing well.
There is the hope, hopefully he can keep that efficiency up when Justin Fields gets in there, help the rushing game, having the mobile quarterback. But
do you see Justin Fields starting this season?
No, week 1, no.
Yeah, I don't either, unfortunately.
It'll be in the first couple weeks, though, for
sure. Hopefully. But, and you mentioned...
because he could very easily go back to his rookie season. And you have a low-end RB2 that's just
high-end
as mediocre as it could be.
Yeah. Well, and then again, you mentioned Khalil Herbert coming in, he's basically between the tackles running back. Yep. Damian Williams, who's a solid running back. Like he's okay, fine. He's just a fine running back. And then you still have Tariq Cohen, who just unfortunately continues to take touches.
Yep.
So
I mean, he finished 4th at the position last year, and everyone is terrified of this guy.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. I mean, again, like he finished 4th on the season, and I have him ranked at 17.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know what to do with him. I want him to be higher because I actually love David Montgomery, but I'm so baffled. And again, it's just the Bears and Matt Nagy.
Yep.
Thank you for watching the Fantasy Monsters on YouTube. If you liked today's episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel below. We also have a merch store we want you to check out with all new gear that we've got available. That'll be in the description. Also, if you want to see any past videos, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching the Fantasy Monsters. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.